Thanks for that, Rick, and Merry Christmas if you're watching. Now, it's the time of year where you always ask for different sort of tasty Christmas party food ideas. So I thought I'd show you one of my simple favourites, and it uses mackerel, which I believe is all year round, really. You can get fantastic mackerel. And it's so simple when you get it this fresh. It's just delicious. And I thought I'd do this with a lovely little crab salad, something really simple. But funny enough, the mackerel's warm where the crab is cold, but the two really work well together. So first thing I'm going to do is almost souse the cucumber to go with it. So you need a bit of vinegar, just a touch, a bit of white wine vinegar. You can use rice wine vinegar as well, some sugar, and a good pinch of salt. That's what you want. You want to bring this to the boil first of all, and then we're going to add our cucumber. So it's actually a really simple little dish that when you break it down for a dinner party or Christmas, this would be perfect to go with it. So, Sam, I mean, first of all, I mean, what a career, considering you, well, your dad didn't want you to be a part of it. You ended up, you were directing first, really, weren't you? That was your
documentaries, yeah.
That was your first love. Yeah. When was the big moment for you in terms of from directing to acting? What was the pivotal moment?
I didn't really start acting professionally until I was 30. By the way, this is the most exciting part of the show for me.
Is it?
Yeah. The whole of the UK is on the edge of their seats now, because here's a man who is doing one job and talking about something else. This is impossible.
Multitasking.
Multitasking. Well, we're not, you know, we don't have it in our DNA, but you can do it. But we could be seeing an industrial accident at any point.
You could do it. You could be actually, yeah.
Anyway, back to me.
It could be that. Yeah, I mean, so what was the moment for you? Because was there something that your dad said, you don't want to be going into the acting? He wasn't anti it, but he didn't want you to do it,
well,
did he,
no,
really?
he just let me have a job, really.
Yeah.
And acting isn't really a job. It's something you do for fun, and if they pay you, it's a tremendous bonus.
Because he was, what was he? He was in the army?
He was an army man, yeah.
So what was that like growing up for you? Because you grew up in Ireland, didn't you?
My first 7 years were in Ireland, and then we went back to New Zealand. So we travelled around a lot, and I think that's true of a lot of actors. They have sort of slightly disrupted childhoods. Their parents tend to be in the, you know, in things that move around a bit. So you have to adapt to new playgrounds and adapt to new accents, that kind of thing, you know. You become an actor unwittingly.
Is that because of in your school as well? Because you had several issues at school as well you found quite difficult, didn't you, as well? Because you had to...
Well, I stuttered, but, you know, I got over that.
But was that something that you went into because you wanted to sort of almost, you know, become somebody else to hide it, or what was that? What was that?
I think the main incentive was I was at a boys' boarding school, all my schooling, and occasionally we'd do plays with girls. And I realised if one was going to have any chance of meeting a girl, talking to a girl, or even finding out what girls were like, do a play. And it worked.
Do a play?
Do a play, yeah. And because we did plays with the girls' schools, you see.
All right, because I was going to say, I did a nativity play and I was hopeless. Yeah, I was supposed to be the king.
Yes.
And then got demoted and put on lighting. And then I got kicked out of that as well. So I was bound to go one way, and that was to the kitchen. That was about it. But I mean, what a career that you've had! Because a mixture of films, you managed to do some hugely popular ones, you know, Jurassic Park and that sort of stuff. But you still keep, you've got throughout your career, and you look at your biography, you've got a mix and match, some dark films in there as well, a bit of horror in there, all manner of different sort of stuff. Is that because you enjoy the storylines of it? And
it's good to play different sort of characters. Otherwise, I'd be bored to death, you know.
But do you search out for those scripts as well? Or?
Yeah, and I've travelled a lot too. I counted once, and I'd worked in over 30 different countries. So I mean, what a privilege! What a privilege to have this life. Every job I do, I feel like I'm the luckiest man on earth.
Because you've almost gone full circle now, because we've got to talk about Peaky Blinders. Yeah. I mean, incredible part that you play in it as well, but incredibly well shot as well. For something, you normally see that in films, but the way that it's shot, it's just it's a fantastic storyline first as well. Yeah. And some great actors in there. I felt really lucky to be in it. And your character, I mean, tell anybody that hasn't seen it, because we just finished series 2. Well, he's a man with right on his side, but he is psychotic. And you don't get asked to do that a lot. And mad and dangerous. But it is a very different part for you, because when you look at it, you know, you almost build the character, you feel as if you're actually growing the character as the programme goes on. I wasn't sure if I owned him or he owned me. And series 2 we're coming to, well, at the end of now. It's available on DVD, by the way, for Christmas. But we don't know whether you're coming back, because You got shot in the first series with your leg. You got shot in the second series. You may come back.
I didn't look well at all.
You didn't look too good, no.
I looked pretty dead, actually.
Well, it didn't look dead because it didn't actually see you, but...
Right. I was slumped on the telephone booth.
So, you may come back or you may not. And what else are you busy at the moment? Because I know you're hugely passionately into your wine as well. You've got your own vineyard. So
yeah.
Tell us about that then.
Well, I first planted grapes about 21 years ago. I now have 4 little vineyards. It's a little bit, you know, in the Burgundian model. I have 4 little vineyards in our little sub-region. It's a region called Central Otago where we grow great Pinot Noir, again, sort of Burgundian. And each of these little vineyards is strategically placed. Each produces very different sort of Pinot Noir, but beautiful, you know. And I've been working with the same winemaker for 20 years. My vineyard manager has been with me for 10 years, so it's a learning process, and we do everything organically. I also have pigs and sheep and chickens and things.
So it's not really a hobby for you, it's turned into a full-blown business. This is a full-blown...
Well, business kind of makes it sound professional.
Right.
We make beautiful wine, but I wouldn't call it, you know, it's not like Apple, we don't make money. But it pays for itself. I love the land. I love the land that I own, and I love my little animals and things that run around. I name my chickens and my ducks and my cows and things after people that I know. I've got a chicken called Helena Bonham Carter, and
Does she know?
I've got a beautiful cow called Shakira Kane, because it's the most beautiful cow I ever saw. Shakira Kane is the most beautiful woman I ever saw. That's the trick. You have to call your animals, you have to give them names, and then you can't eat them, you know.
And as well as the farm, you're keeping busy with films and bits and pieces. But tell us about this new one. Is it The Daughter? Tell me about that.
Oh, well, I've done 3 films this year, and 2 mini-series. I've done I'm doing a documentary about Anzac. 1914 seems to be the year that most people are remembering as far as the First War goes here. But in Australia and New Zealand, 1915, that's when we landed at Gallipoli, and it's a very, very... that's a very crucial date in you know, Anzac history, Australia and New Zealand. That was our first big part of the war. And then we went on to France, and we filmed in France, you know. My grandfather was killed in France. I had a lot of my family were killed in France at that time. So that documentary is about that as much as.
And when will people be able to see that?
Anzac Day was April of next year.
Well, there you go. I'm more or less finished. We've got this little wood sorrel to go over the top as well. Nice little bit. I love wood sorrel as well to go with it. And then I've just made a little bit of herb oil.
That's
just
fantastic.
To pop,
that was so quick.
Just pop in there.
You're unbelievable. You talked about all that and you kicked and you cooked this. It's incredible.
Well,
and I'm a big believer in mackerel, by the way.
Well, I
love mackerel and sardines.
Mackerel and crab. But that's just cooked with a blowtorch as well. So if anybody didn't see that, but you try that piece of mackerel there. But the mackerel is thoroughly cooked all the way through. And for Christmas, get yourself one of these, a proper blowtorch. Not the little ones. But it cooks it.
You know, wherever I go, I look at places where people grow, you know, they grow old and they're fit and they're lively. In Japan, they eat a lot of humble fish like mackerel and sardines, and they live forever.
This is where I've been going wrong. I cake mine in batter and deep fry it. But anyway, right, what we'll be cooking for Sam at the end of the show. He could be facing food heaven. That pheasant Kiev. The pheasant is stuffed with some homemade chive and garlic butter, then rolled in some sourdough breadcrumbs and fried, and it's simply served with a broad bean, pea and nut salad with some winter leaves. Or Sam could be facing food hell. Cinnamon. I'm going to fill an enriched yeast dough with some cream cheese, vanilla, plenty of cinnamon, and then it's rolled and sliced and baked together, and it's served straight from the oven with a lovely whiskey maple syrup glaze over the top. Now, we're letting fate decide what he gets at the end of the show, so keep watching. Right, it's time for more fantastic festive food from the BBC's archive. This time, it's from Heston Blumenthal. He's preparing a Christmas dinner for some very special guests, so get ready for a magical menu. Secure the dry ice, liquid nitrogen, and a truly remarkable mulled wine. Enjoy this one.